Hi everyone, I'm Lucy and this is Keep Petite. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a Friday Sews catch up and I have had a really lovely week. I hope you're all well and that you've been having some of the lovely sunny weather that we've been getting in the northeast coast. I have had a bit of a different week this week. I've had a visitor from Scotland, and we went out and met up with another sewing friend, so I wanted to have a little chat about that. And I'm wearing the Suki dress, which I started off at the Sew Tune session that I went to on Sunday, which is run by Tamlin from Sewing on the Tyne, just local to me. I'll talk you through that and show you it a little bit better later on in the video. I just want to say a massive thank you to my subscribers for supporting me, and I have had quite a few new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, so thank you so much for coming over. That's absolutely brilliant. And if you're new here and you enjoy what you're watching, then you can click on the red button on the bottom right hand of your screen. That would be great to get some more people on board as well. So I'm going to start with showing you a little delivery that I got. So I had run out of Swedish tracing paper, and I started using this probably about a year ago now. And here you get it in this roll here, and I just absolutely love it. This one's called Pattern Trace, and it comes in a 10-meter roll. I think it's about 1 meter wide. And when I started using this, it's not the cheapest of tracing paper, but I think this was about £16.50. But the last one I had lasted me ages, and for me it's just something that I'm sure you'll have experienced this with various things, like maybe a type of fabric or whatever, but once I started using this, I just have found it really difficult to trace with anything else. It's just fantastic because it's really see-through, but it's also really strong, so it doesn't rip easily at all. It's just lovely to work with. And then when you fold the pieces up, you don't worry about them getting all crumpled and things like that. So I got it from Plush Addict, which is where I got it from before. And and also to mention, what you can do with this is you can actually make toiles with this. So you can, say for instance, if you want to check out the fitting of a bodice, you can cut the pieces out, you can sew this together and then try it on as a toile garment and see how the fitting is. So that's absolutely brilliant as well. But while I was on Plush Addict, I decided to have a little look at their fabrics, because I've been looking for something to make the Lander shorts with. If you saw my recent video, you'll know that I made them in a lovely dark green cord, but unfortunately they ended up too big. So I'm going to downsize. And when I was on Plush Addict, I saw these absolutely gorgeous linens, which is exactly what I fancied to make the shorts with, just to make them a bit cooler. And so I bought this beautiful teal, it says linen texture on the side. Yes, this beautiful teal. I'm so sorry, I can't remember how much it was off the top of my head, but just look at that. It is just beautiful. Lovely drape to it. It's just going to be perfect because it's got that little bit of drape, but it's also got the structure that's needed, and it's light to medium weight. So yeah, I think that is going to be perfect for those shorts. I might just need to check and see if I've got a matching thread, so I might need to get some thread, but I was very happy with that. Because I haven't actually bought their fabrics before, but I first heard about them, it was when I first started sort of following Tilly and the Buttons, and that was on the adverts. They were on the side adverts on her website. So that's how I first came across them, but really pleased with that fabric, so I will probably purchase from them again. And not a delivery, but a present that I got. So this fabric was gifted to me by a lovely lady called Agnes, who is So Agnes on Instagram. And I first met Agnes in Bristol in 2019. We were at a socialite soiree together. And we also met a lady called Loriann, who you may have heard other vloggers mention recently, because she's over in the UK doing a tour for about a month, and she's planned all these meetups with her, well, people she follows on YouTube, sewing vloggers. That's her passion, sewing, and she does quilting and all sorts of things. Yeah, so she was coming over, and she told me she'd be up in Newcastle, so and to meet another friend, Michelle, who is Small Smiley on Instagram. And yeah, so we knew we'd all be getting together for dinner. And Agnes messaged me because she had met Loriann as well in Bristol, and said, you know, could I come down on that night, and you know, it'll be a little bit of a surprise. So that was absolutely lovely. I'll pop some pictures in of Loriann and Agnes, and then one of the three of us together, and then there was a group of us having dinner. So I'll pop those pictures in. But yeah, so Agnes was really lovely, and she stayed overnight with me. She brought little things like chocolate for my kids, and she brought some fizzy wine, which always goes down well here. And yeah, she gave me this fabric, which is just absolutely stunning. Excuse my sniffling, but my hay fever is absolutely awful at the minute. Yeah, so it is a Lady McElroy cotton lawn, and just look at this, it is beautiful. I'll try and fill the screen. And what I just love is it's not something I would probably, you know, pick out to buy, and it's just because I'm not that adventurous, you know, with patterns and things. But yeah, I just absolutely love it, and the feel, and obviously the quality of it is amazing. So I'm actually thinking of possibly doing another Cali, because I did make a Cali recently, and I would like to make another version. Maybe I've done the cropped version, so I would like to do the slightly longer version, the sort of normal shirt length. So I think that will work absolutely beautifully. So Agnes, I know you are probably going to watch this, so thank you again so much for this fabric. And of course, oh, and she also popped on a couple of little tags. So that's absolutely brilliant. Yes, thank you again, Agnes. Actually, nobody has ever bought me fabric before, as far as I can recall. So that's a first. Yeah, excuse me, I just had to go off and get a tissue because my nose is running. It's not very pleasant. It's just hay fever symptoms, and it just seems to be, this week, it's just been awful. If you suffer from hay fever, you have my every sympathy. And if you don't, you'll find this very boring, like I did before I was a sufferer, and I used to think everyone was just moaning. I take that back, everyone. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the Suki dress. I will I'll stand up and show you it properly, put in a clip that shows it better in terms of the length and everything in a minute. But first of all, I just want to talk about the sizing and stuff, and just show you a picture of the pattern and things. So it is from the book. It's a Tilly book. Brilliant Tilly book, they all are. Make It Simple. And it is this one. It is the Suki dress. Let's try and bring it up a bit closer. Yeah, so a really simple shift dress. and it kind of goes straight over your you know, your waist and hips, and then comes in a little bit. I decided to make the one without the sleeves on, and yes, I basically I wasn't sure what I was going to make at the Sew Tune session on Sunday, so I thought I need something simple to do, and I knew I'd cut this pattern out a while ago, and then I thought, I've got some fabric. It said use light to medium weight drapey woven fabric. Well, this is very drapey. As it turns out, probably a little bit too drapey, but I knew that I had this, and I only paid £1 a metre for it at Birmingham Rag Market. So I thought, look, I'm just going to treat it as a toile, see what the fit's like, because I've seen there's another version in here that I want to make that I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, sizing. So I fitted into a size between a 5 and 6 on the bust, because it's 38 and 40, and I'm basically 39 and a half, I think. And then on the waist, I was about well, in between a 5 and 6. And then on the hips, I was between a 4 and 5. So a little bit of a mixture, but I tend to be a size 5 in Tilly patterns, and I checked out the finished garment measurements, and that looked okay. I mean, obviously for me, the bust is probably, in this type of dress, getting the bust right is probably the most important thing, because obviously I don't want that to be too tight. So I had a look at the finished garment measurement on the bust. On a size 5, it was 47.5 inches, which is loads of ease. And then the waist and hips are both a 44, and I'm about a 40 on the hip. So I thought that sounded about right. So yes, so that's the one I have made. Now, again, I'm going to show you it properly in a second. But what I found is that the size is fine. It's absolutely fine. Just this fabric is a little bit too drapey, and it was quite difficult to do things like, this is like a double hem. It's like a 1 centimetre over, then 1 centimetre again. And just because of this fabric, it was really difficult to do things like to keep it flat on this kind of curved bit. So I ended up with a kind of tuck, and then I did some hand stitching to, you know, just to make that a bit neater. But when you look at it close up, it's not great. But nobody would know, would they? It you know, it doesn't show. So it's lovely. And it has, yeah, I'm sure that I've chosen the right size. What I would like to move on to is a different version, and it's just, I love these kind of patterns, because just by choosing a different fabric and, you know, changing it up a little bit, you can get a completely different look. So this, it looks to me like it's a little bit of a lightweight chambray or something. Anyway, more structure than this fabric, but still, you know, light to medium weight. And what you do is you add a sash and belt loops, big belt loops, and then it's got a little tie attached to the sash. But it shows you here, I mean, you literally just, to do that, you just create, you know, based on certain measurements, you just create 3 rectangles. And that's it, job done. You've changed that completely. And that is the version I would like to make next. And I will stick with the sizing because I've tried it out on this toile. So I'll just change the camera angle so I can show you it properly. Okay, here we are. So you can see that it comes just under my knee. Now, I think I did take some up. Yes, I did take some off the bottom. I took about, was it 2 or 3 inches I took off the bottom? I think I took 3 inches off the bottom because it just looked really, really long, like when I held the pattern piece up. And I am 5'1" and a bit, and it's drafted for, I'm sure their Tillies are 5.5 or 5.6 that they're drafted for. So that did make sense, and that's where it's supposed to finish. So yeah, so you have got the version where you can add a sleeve here, a long sleeve, make it into a long sleeve. But this is just grown on without that. Like you say, so you've got the option with the hemming. You can hem it, you can turn it under a centimetre and then a centimetre again, or you can overlock it and turn it up by 2 centimetres instead. So I think I would probably do that next time, because I did find this fiddly, and I know that's partly because of the fabric, but yeah, I think I would change that. It's just really, really simple. You've got a front, a back, you cut them on the fold, and then excuse me, you've got your facings, just a front and back facing that you interface in the usual kind of way. So that's super easy to construct, and it went in very, very well. And then your bottom hem is done in exactly the same way as these sleeves, 1 centimetre up, and again, but again next time I'll just do the 2 centimetres overlooking it first. So yeah, it's like, you know, really, really loose fit. This fabric is also quite clingy, so yeah, it's got quite a bit of static in it, but it's really comfortable. I've already worn it a couple of times. I wore it out on the dinner with Agnes and Loriann. It was just yeah, it felt like really, really smart. Obviously you can dress it up, dress it down, and I'm really looking forward to making the one that has the sash and kind of brings you in at the waist. So yeah, overall really, really pleased with it. Oh, yeah, just to mention, when I was cutting it on the fold, I did the front, and then when I kind of cut along it to use the next bit, and I'd obviously cut it down, or, you know, not cut it straight enough. Anyway, ended up it wasn't wide enough for me to do the back on the fold, but it was fine. I just did 2 pieces and added a seam allowance down the middle. So I do have a seam going down the middle, which just makes absolutely no difference, especially in this fabric. I think in something else it would be a lot more obvious, but I will remember my mistake for next time and not do that again. So yeah, it just feels really, really comfy and breezy and ideal for the summer. So everyone, that is my Friday Sews catch up. What a lovely week I've had. So nice. Next week I am doing some alterations through my business, so I've got some trousers to take up, exciting. And I'm also, I've put in an order with First for Fabrics for some Stuff of Denmark jerseys, because I'm going to be making some t-shirts, and I want to do them as part of this challenge that is running throughout June. But I know kind of we're quite far into June already, but hopefully I can squeeze them in. And I've got some other jersey fabrics, but what I'll do is I will wait for my order to arrive, which should be probably by Tuesday. So for next week's Friday Sews, I'll be able to show you those fabrics. And I think I've got to trace out a few pattern pieces for the t-shirts I want to do, but I'll talk to you about all of that together. Yeah, and you might be interested, or you might already be doing it yourself. So I'm going to leave it there and say thank you so much for joining me. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.